Hey you guys, this video is the second part to my previous video, which you can go check out in the description below. This is part 2 to my theories for Spider-Man No Way Home and future MCU films. Okay, so last time we talked about how Wanda could be controlling Peter to manipulate him into making him go to ask Doctor Strange to cast a spell in which everybody forgets that he is Spider-Man, but only to do this so that Peter would botch the spell purposefully in Wanda's plan to collapse the multiverse and find her children. We also talked about Mephisto's plan for Wanda, for himself to escape and break into the chaos of the multiverse. If Wanda does open up the multiverse to find her children, where would she look first? We can talk dimensions. My first idea was the Dark Dimension. The Dweller of Darkness, shown in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, could have some link. In Shang-Chi, the Dweller of Darkness controlled Wenwu's mind to seek for his wife in Ta Lo. This could be the same voice that is manipulating Wanda into finding her children, but in the Ta Lo dimension. But since the Dweller of Darkness is defeated, it might no longer come from Ta Lo anymore. This is why I think the call could now be coming from the Dark Dimension. In the comics, the Dweller of Darkness originated from the Dark Dimension, so this makes a lot of sense for Wanda to be searching in the Dark Dimension first. But the only character we have seen in the MCU that has entered the Dark Dimension was Doctor Strange, shown in Doctor Strange, which we had the first look for Dormammu. This is probably why Wanda needs Peter to ask Doctor Strange to cast and then botch the spell. Now, in my previous video, I said it would make more sense for Peter to be mind controlled or manipulated, but in this scenario, it makes more sense for Doctor Strange to be under control of the Scarlet Witch. After all, the Scarlet Witch exceeds the power of the Sorcerer Supreme, referenced back in WandaVision, and this is why Doctor Strange agrees to cast Peter's spell, even with the warning from Wong. So this is why I believe that Wanda will be looking in the Dark Dimension first. She would need the multiverse to collapse, so then it is easier to access the Dark Dimension with the boundaries of space, time, and reality broken through the Sorcerer Supreme. The Dark Dimension also links with Galactus if the MCU sticks to the origins in the comics. Galactus is the most well-known villain to the Fantastic Four. This may be the case in the new Marvel Studios Fantastic Four movie. Now, how does this link with Spider-Man? Well, in the comics, when one of the Fantastic Four members died, he was next in line to replace the gap, and it was still known as the FF, also known as the Future Foundation. But I only feel that will be a reality when Spider-Man is older and more adult, where he can take on the responsibility and challenge. I will be talking more of what it means to be Spider-Man later in the video. The Dark Dimension does have links to Shang-Chi now in the MCU. I won't be covering my multiversal war theory now. You can check out my Eternals theory breakdown video in the description below for more information. The multiversal war could also be with the Council of Kangs, variants, Loki, the X-Men, and the new Doctor Strange movie, which I could talk about in my next video, but we'll see. Now with the multiverse into chaos, there may be something with Loki. Loki is predicted to appear in the next Doctor Strange movie. Loki at the end of the season had collapsed all the timelines, and maybe there is a difference between timeline and a universe, but if you remember in Loki, they did say that if the timeline scrambled, there would be a multiversal war. But I kinda doubt Loki may show in Doctor Strange 2 because we are still left on that cliffhanger at the end of the season, and before Loki can continue his journey through the MCU, we need to wait for season 2 of Loki in phase 5. Now let's talk about the theme, what it means to be Spider-Man, or what it means to be a superhero. If Andrew and Tobey reprise their roles as Spider-Man in Spider-Man No Way Home, I feel that they will teach Tom's Peter Parker what it's like to be Spider-Man. We will probably get the same vibe from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where Miles Morales learns what it meant to be Spider-Man. He learned from his Spider mentors from their separate universes. That is what I feel Tom's Peter will do as well. In my last video, I talked about how Spider-Man needs to suffer, which again can go check out in the description. I believe that Happy will die so that Peter Parker will learn the famous quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." He will have to suffer the consequences of his own actions and regret being Spider-Man, just like how the other Spider-Men learned. Another way Spider-Man No Way Home will express the theme what it means Spider-Man is the table scene that was leaked not too long ago. I don't want to show it here because I'm afraid I might get copyrighted or cancelled if it is real, which I believe to be. It consisted of Daredevil, Aunt May, Happy, and Peter. Now before the leak was out, Tom Holland had said that there was a table scene where Peter, Happy, Aunt May, and one mystery character discussed what it was like to be a superhero. This basically confirms that Daredevil will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home, played by Charlie Cox, which was confirmed by Kevin Feige not too long ago. Now, Matt Murdock probably won't appear as Daredevil in Spider-Man No Way Home. In Spider-Man No Way Home, we might see more of Strange's relationship with Peter. In the comics, Spider-Man and the Sorcerer Supreme were actually good friends. For example, Spider-Man was trusted to stop the chaos that the Sorcerer Supreme was held responsible for when Doctor Strange died. If you check in the trailers we've gotten so far, Strange was willing to help Peter and cast a spell. Now yes, Strange could be controlled by Wanda or Mephisto, but in this scenario, it makes more sense if Doctor Strange was under the control of Wanda or Mephisto. If you read the Death of Doctor Strange comics, we see that Doctor Strange had a lot of responsibilities, very mystic and dangerous responsibilities, which I hope to see more of in Doctor Strange 2. In Doctor Strange, his known responsibilities is to keep the multiverse intact, space, time, and reality balanced, and stop Dormammu from devouring Earth. Let's talk about Peter's relationship with MJ. Now, from a new TV spot, it showed what it was to be dating Spider-Man.
Unwanted attention. Hanging out in secret lairs.
Oh, a torture rack.
That is a Pilates machine. Dad disapproves.
Where are we gonna go?
I don't know your house.
No, we cannot go to my house. My dad will kill you.
What? I thought you said your dad really liked
Yeah, well, not anymore.
Spider babies. Now my question is just curious. Will Peter and MJ eventually do the dirty and then get children with spider powers or no? What do you think? Because I feel like that would be very, very interesting. Okay, so back to talking about MJ and Peter's relationship. I have a feeling that Peter might break up with MJ just to protect her. This would be heartbreaking, but makes sense. Just like Toby, he would have to suffer giving up his girlfriend to be Spider-Man. Now, obviously, MJ will be very resistant to this decision, which would make a great scene in the movie. If this happens, we can eventually get Black Cat and Spider-Man's relationship in the MCU. Obviously, when Peter is older and more adult, we could eventually see an argument with Black Cat, Peter, and MJ. That would be amazing to see. This would be a couple of years later, so MJ could probably come back comic accurate and have red dyed hair. Huh? I'm just kidding. That would look weird, wouldn't it? Well, that's what I have today, guys. Hope you like my ideas. Please comment to tell me what you thought, and if you have any theories of your own, put them down there and I'll make a video based on that theory. That will involve your credit to the idea. Well, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.